on mixed broadcast there, but when I was at the AIW class on the campus, they walked us over to the football stadium and they played that system for us. And it was amazing. You could stand on the field and not have any sound, and then they would put the sound on the field, and then you could go up in the stands and you didn't hear anything except the sound that was kind of going on the field, and then they put it back to the normal coverage. So, it just covers the stadium.
I guess how they lose the contract for the Razorback Stadium, then that's, I guess, the reason why he's there. David's asleep.
Well,
David is falling asleep already? No, he isn't.
Oh, I'm listening. I'm focusing.
Look how organized. I mean, you got to look at David's office and see how organized he is. Amazingly organized.
I know where everything is. There's a lot going on. Remember, this is a shop and an office.
Who lost the contract, Greg?
EAW lost it to D&B.
What stadium are we talking about?
Razorback.
Where's that at?
Arkansas.
Where they Arizona Razorbacks play. I don't know where that's at. Scottsdale, Phoenix.
Razorback? No, the Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks. All
Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks.
Sorry.
Yeah, they demoed the system in the stadium, and somebody else got it. It was just a matter of money. It was because it's owned by the city.
Okay.
But they did put the system in at ASU. Arizona, the first place they put it in Arizona was at Arizona State University in the football arena, and then the D-backs heard it and wanted to get a demo of it, and they brought a system in, but it was too much money for them.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up.
Well, that was also before that Robert got involved with it. Robert wasn't involved. Robert just got involved with the AW, although he did use this system with Tom Petty.
Yes, but he didn't. He helped bring the thing over to Diamondbacks for a demo because Robert knew the people from using the system with Petty, but he wasn't working for EAW at that time.
Well, I wish I could have him in the room right now to talk about it, but it's always best to talk about somebody when they're not around. I always say, if you're going to talk about them, let's not have them around to defend themselves in any way, shape, or form.
So does that
amazing photos of David with the Mountain Man. That's what I'm calling him now. And it was really good to see all that, and I really appreciate. I couldn't go, so what else was great about NAMM for you, David?
Did you get to do a back lounge in the bus, David? I tried to reach out to a couple of people and said, hey, try to find David and have the back lounge in the bus, but obviously it didn't happen, so it didn't show up.
Well, the back of the bus is full of guitars. There's no room back there for people. That's one of the sacrifices we have to make. The bottom of the bus gets all the gear except for the guitars. They stay in the temperature controlled back of the bus. And there are 22 guitars and other instruments. Plus all the merchandise is back there and the spare parts are back there, and so no party in the back of the bus.
I would say, from being on the text chain, that probably the best part of it was being with the people that you haven't seen in a long time.
Well, that's certainly, I was there for 2 days, and I ran into Kenny Newman there. So Kenny and I are going back and forth and doing stuff, and then he gets a text from Dave Lawler, who is a sim guy for years, and he goes out with Diane Krall, and he's just a great engineer and a great guy, and we haven't seen him in a long time. And I said to Kenny, we have 1.5 aisles left to do on this floor. If we see Dave, that's the end of the day. And sure enough, Dave pops up, and that was the end of the day. We were there after they closed the show, after they're throwing people out. We're still hanging out and talking, and I never got to see what was in those last row and a half.
Weren't you with Ted as well? Wasn't Ted there as well?
Yes, Ted showed up also, right? So there was at one point. Yeah. I mean, the NAMM is great for that, but don't go expect to see booths if you're going to keep running into people. It doesn't work.
D
Right.
Ted or the Ted N from Detroit or
Ted W.
Ted W. from Scotland.
Oh, of course.
But of course, darling. Hey, wahoo, you know.
Sorry, I did monitors for Nugent for years, so
Oh,
and
okay.
I'm fine.
Yeah,
So,
that's what you say. All right. Yeah. Hey, all right, everybody. Yeah. Okay. Good. Good for you. Good for you.
and right in the middle of us all talking to each other about what we did and what we're going to do, Jan calls. Perfect timing.
Yeah, that was great to talk to Dave. I loved it, man. It was, it was a lot of fun. It was just tons of fun. To speak to him again, I really enjoyed myself. It was just I felt like I was there. One of my favorite shows of all time is NAMM. Because the people that show up at NAMM are ready to party. At least it was in my day. And I was just looking at some pictures of us from 10 years ago, David, when we were at NAMM, because I use this program called Day One, and it reminds me about things that happened in a period of time. So I'll get a reminder from 10 years ago. It was really cool.
Was
You
that
know,
with Michael?
No, Michael wasn't there. That was I talked about that last week about how Matt Larson, Albert, a bunch of other people went out to. Matt Larson was at Digico at the time, and he took us out to this really expensive dinner at a place called the White House. Uh, you know, so yeah.
I wasn't there.
No, you weren't. You missed a good meal.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, what else? You sent pictures of the Midas console.
Yeah, the Midas has that little portable console where the lid, the screen is, you can't see it on it. Have to come back. The screen is this big, by this
Hmm.
big. And
It's a
then
19
it
inch.
falls down
Yeah.
and goes back up again. And then you have some faders in front of you, and it's a full Midas Heritage D or Heritage whatever it's called, 96D.
96. HD 96. Yeah.
H96. And I asked him what the difference was, and the word compact is underneath the name for that version. And then there's the full version that doesn't have the word compact on it, but they both have the same name. They're both HD96 Heritage or whatever it's called. It looked
Can
great.
you imagine touring with that, David?
Well,
How like crazy would that be?
to do what?
Almost as crazy as being a Palisades survivor. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Hey,
Hey,
Chris.
Chris, how you
Howdy.
doing, buddy?
Oh, well, it's
Wow, look at you, man. Look at you. You've grown a beard, or
just
or
never.
something like that. You
Yeah, I've been
lost your
wearing
comb in the fire, I see.
the same clothes for like 3 days. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been hell, but just keep pushing forward. So
Well, for those people that don't know, because they're tuning in for the first time, Chris was one of the victims of the Los Angeles fire. And so, give us an update of what you know about your own, of your own situation.
yeah,
How's your mom, your brother, everybody, the house, the ADU? What's going on?
yeah. So they finally have made access a bit easier. So I have an orange pass. So I went to the parking lot 3 with my federalized ID and all that, and they look at your ID and the address on the ID. Thank God, corresponds with the house that burned. So they give you the pass, and then when you drive past the military police, they check it, make sure that the orange pass address matches that of your ID, and they let you in. It used to be that you had to go and get into a queue and then wait for the police to escort you up, and that could take 3 hours. And then they had a hard break at 11:30 to 1. Hard break at 11:30 to 1, which is actually also known as lunch hour. So they like stopped all traffic so they could eat lunch. And anyway, it's every time I go over there, I come away with the same impression, and that is that it looks just like a nuclear bomb dropped. I mean, there is no other. It's so stark and so bleak, and so many homes, just hundreds, and streets where you just drive and drive and drive, and nothing is standing. It's amazing. It's difficult to actually kind of process.
Chris, did you lose everything, both houses?
No, the ADU made it. So, which was okay. So I opened the garage for the first time since I was last on this program the day before yesterday. Oh no, sorry, it was the day before yesterday, and was completely stunned to see that there was this micro ash and a little bit bigger ash. So the wind had propelled tiny burning embers into all the nooks and crannies that you could find on a garage door. It just absolutely stunning. So the fact that it didn't burn down is just a miracle. I mean, on the floor there was maybe a pile of ash that was I don't know, 1.5 feet, 18 inches diameter, more or less, and just a stack of ash that had collected in that spot. And thank God there was nothing combustible there. But I went into my neighbor's ADU up the street a little bit, and they were partially damaged. And the woman showed me. So it's a mother and daughter living in this house, and the daughter's got the bedroom downstairs, and she just had a vinyl LP stuck up on the wall as art, and it was fully like deformed and had partially melted, even though the place did not burn on the outside. So the actual temperature coming through the wall was enough to
Well,
God, it was just just all of it. And then again, that architect who lived down the way with 2 Airstreams, there's no trace of the Airstreams. There is no aluminum on the ground. It was all vaporized. The only thing left is the axle. No other sign of that 20-foot or whatever it is, Airstream was there.
Did you get hurt by the rains?
Not helpful.
Yeah.
Not helpful, and thank goodness they wore. It was just enough, and almost too much, arguably, but not enough to provoke any mudslides or anything like that. So at least the ground's got a little bit of humidity in it, and maybe that'll start, plants growing back that'll try to maintain those hillsides. But essentially the Palisades from the top of Temescal Canyon Road, which is Will Rogers State Park, it all the way back up into the hills there is no vegetation at all.
Oh my God! But it'll grow back. That'll grow back.
It'll grow back. I mean, I just would shudder to think of Thomas Fire, Montecito 2.0, right? That would be the worst case scenario, where the fire came through and then like 2 weeks later, torrential rains. And in Montecito, buddies of mine were sending me photos of 40-ton boulders rolling down riverbeds. And man, if we were to get some serious hydration into those hills, man alive, it is going to make.
You've unclogged your drains, right?
I haven't yet. I'm going to do that. There's no water. There's still no water available.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'll probably unclog those drains, although, they're just going to overflow and it's just going to come down. So it's not really that bad a deal. But yeah, it's I've never seen more technicians than what I saw, they're just everywhere. and they've got, obviously they're subcontracting into the private sector, but new utility poles, new wires, they're already, they just take the gas meters out and put them in front of the house on the ground, where they cut the tubes.
Right.
And so they're jackhammering into the streets and, creating new drops. And I mean, it is, it's insane. That's about
Well,
all I can
they're
tell
not
you.
going to try to go underground with power. Obviously, they're going to put it back overhead.
Speed is of the essence. Yeah.
Greg's got it. And also, just they are using Galva telephone poles now, which is nice, instead of the old wood ones. But yeah, I did actually see a DWP truck, Department of Water and Power, with with some pine tar coated wood poles. So they're not using all Galva everywhere, but at least Galva's a step forward. And then will they at least bury the cans, the transformers, or are they gonna there's a class action lawsuit that's been filed against the LADWP because there was a second ignition point in the Palisades fire that occurred when a transformer can blew up, and it's videoed and all that, and then apparently they found out that can was supposed to be buried and it wasn't.
Wow.
So they're I mean,
but
there's going to be hell to pay in the future. There, the civil litigation from this thing is going to be just absolutely monstrous.
There's too much money involved.
No.
Oh,
it's so much that I've seen it on my feeds in all my social media of these what are they? I don't know what to call them, vultures, lawyer vultures that are trying to already capitalize on people's pain to say, hey, if you've been involved in the fire, we'll get you back, more money than you ever deserved in your life.
Not only that, the FEMA fraud's already happening. So a bunch of people on the WhatsApp list, neighbors that have gotten together. It was a neighborhood watch WhatsApp list that's now been morphed into, rebuilding and questions and all that stuff. And it's really great. I mean, it's nice to be in contact with everybody, but several people said they went down to get the FEMA, $700 or whatever it is, and found out that somebody had already filed an application fraudulently to get that money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tried to go down there today with my mother, carted her over to this place, and the escalator was busted, and it was an hour line just to get into the elevator to get up to the space. So we just shined it on. But yeah, anyway.
Well, I have to tell you something. I have to tell you something right now. I'm glad that I never sold my stock in the asbestos sheetrock company that I own. And because you guys, when you rebuild, I think asbestos is going to have to be put into the picture, because that's all there is to it, Because just think, if those homes were built with asbestos, nothing would have happened except you have to be replanting your shrubbery.
Yeah, there were actually quite a large number of homes that date back 50, 70 years that burned, and I saw a bunch of guys out there today with EPA, with this thing they're holding in their hand, and it's like spinning, and they're collecting samples. And believe me, this place is going to get tested and analyzed to death. And they're going to find asbestos, they're going to find mercury, they're going to find everything.
Well, look at all the lithium that's been leaked from the Teslas.
Thousands of Teslas burned in the fire.
Wow.
I wonder if those people are going to replace their cars with Teslas, or they're going to go with something else.
The one thing that's just so incredible about this whole situation. So a number of years ago, or a year ago, or maybe not even a year ago, but in the very recent past, Topanga Canyon wanted to clear brush. And the people, they had all this stuff, and they were going to start to clear the brush. And then the people that were going to clear the brush were taken to court and sued and fined $2 million because there was this little plant called like Martin's Velch or something like this. And, it would be just too much if they took out, Martin's Velch as they were cleaning the brush. So the brush cleaning never happened. And to all of the environmentalists, which I clearly understand, and I support some of the objectives, not all, but by not clearing that brush and by doing all of this environmental crap, we just unwound about the last 20 years of pollution saving stuff from this one fire.
Oh, 20 years is an underestimate. I would say it's probably a lot more than 20 years. It's probably a decade. Well,
The runoff has to be.
Jan needs some math help.
The runoff has to be so toxic.
Yeah, so they I have to say they put booms everywhere. Even in front of my place, they had these green cotton. I don't know what the material is, but man, it's soaked up.
What's a boom? Is it a boom? BOOM?
Or I can't remember what is that the spelling? I'm not sure.
It's the same thing they put
on an oil spill
in the Gulf to soak up oil. It doesn't. It's water resistant, but everything else it catches.
Yeah, so they had those in front of every single residence. Pretty amazing. I don't know who organized that.
Wow.
Had enough of them in stock to come up and do that, but yeah, they were everywhere. So that was a big help. All Los Angeles County beaches, anywhere in the Santa Monica region have been permanently closed. You can't go in the water, and it'll be 5 years before you'd want to swim again in Santa Monica.
So the water is definitely polluted as well.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my God. Yeah.
Great shades of Fukuyama.
The water got polluted just from all of those particulates from the fire being blown out to sea, and then they eventually came down and into the water.
Well, wait till it rains and all that rain starts running down the LA River. And
well, that
wishful thinking, Fred. Wishful thinking,
and all that other stuff that's going to be the same, contributing massively to all that. Yeah,
exactly.
Well,
what does ADU stand for?
Additional dwelling unit. So in Los Angeles County, they passed a law because there's a big housing shortage that you can pretty much, let's just call it a granny flat or a guest house or whatever. If you've got a piece of land and you can build a guest house on it, provided that it's not more than X number of square feet and blah, blah, blah. So I have a 1-bedroom, 1.5 bath ADU that's about 500 and something square feet, maybe 600.
I'm just not up on my acronyms. I work at the government, and everything at the government is a freaking acronym, and it pisses me off because I don't know what they came up with the other day, and they said, we want you to come to this KRC meeting. I go, what is that? A new chicken place?
Yeah, no.
It's the Knowledge Resource Center.
Yeah, okay, so that's why I support SUA, which is stop using acronyms. And
very good. SUA.
WTF? Come on.
Yeah, WTF. I agree with that one. That's it. WTF.
Yeah, like that one.
We're glad you're here. We're gonna try to take your mind off of your challenges. We were just talking about NAMM, and David was talking about his experiences over at NAMM. But one thing, you did. You'll have to talk about it too. But one thing I want to say.
I went for like a half day, so I got down there at about 1 and I left at about 4:30. But I did go to Meyer and see the X80 demo. And took
what do you think of the X80s?
It's pretty darn impressive, to be quite honest. So they started off with X20, no subwoofer, X20 with a subwoofer, X40, no subwoofer, X40 with a subwoofer, X80, nothing. And then they had one 2100 for two X80s. And honestly, I like the 2100 for big stuff, but I think the 900 is a better sounding subwoofer for smaller applications. Obviously, if you're doing an arena thing and you need the thump, then you can use the 2100s. But the 900s for me are a little bit more accurate, and they don't have just that excessive bass.
The last time I was there, I forgot the manufacturer, but they were demonstrating this subwoofer, and you had to sign a disclaimer, and you had to put on a diaper, and you went in the room and they turned on the bass. It was a shitty experience, I tell you. But what the hell?
I got.
Do they have any?
Whenever you get to that point, Chris, when you hit your kick through your 900s, yeah, there's gonna be some blow forward out of them. I think they survive.
Right? I haven't really used the 900s with like an acoustic kick and mics. I've used my Roland setup through the 900s and the electronic
That's even
drums.
better.
Yeah, I have to say, man, the new Roland 700 series is phenomenal. I mean, they really did a nice redesign on it.
What was your best? What you were at NAMM? What did you like other than the people?
I didn't get a chance. Regrettably, the L Acoustic, they had that 3.2 or whatever the heck it is. They've got a new system out, and it was kind of disappointing because at the last demo they were actually like serving drinks, and they were like, "You can come," and I'm like, "Oh, that would be great." And then I'm like, I really can't be hammering a couple of drinks and then getting on the road for 2 hours. So,
right.
But honestly, it looked just like the last NAMM show. Although I have to say, there were some, PDP was there. That's kind of a division of DW that owns LP and that kind of stuff. They had a lot of gear. KMS was there. They were not there at the last NAMM show. They are the distributor for Sonar, and they're kind of like a Harman. They do marketing and distribution for a pretty large amount of stuff. Marshall apparently had a very nice booth. My friends that play guitar said that they really like hanging out at the Marshall booth, and
Marshall
was about it. It's just
bought out.
It's just overkill. I mean, you go to NAMM and it's just like, oh my god. I mean, there's the amount of Asian products, drums, line arrays, guitars. I mean, and the stuff is dirt cheap, man. And they got the money, man. They show up and they pay the NAMM fees, which are apparently pretty heavy.
Yeah. Hey, David, you sent me 4 pictures, I believe 4 or 5 pictures. Is it okay if I share those pictures and you could tell us what's going on in those pictures?
Sure, if I remember.
All right. Here we go. All right. So tell us what we're seeing.
All right. So there are those faders I was talking about. It's 2 banks of 8, and the controls.
What is this? What is this?
It's the Midas board. It's the Heritage 96. I can't remember the number, but it's the smaller, new compact version of their larger version of
HD96 compact.
Yeah. So you can't see it, but right where the reflection is where it has the name of the board, and right under that is where it says compact. So that's the only difference between that board and the one that's the full board. But it's got everything you want. Look, you got faders on that screen. You've got all the controls on that screen. You've got the faders below you. You have the buttons above the faders below you. And on the right, you have all of those switches. All those buttons are things that you want to look at. And then you have left, right, and mono, or whatever those 3 faders are. It looked pretty good. And
yeah.
Sure, it sounds great.
And Then that's the back of it.
Yeah. And none of
Okay.
those connectors are audio XLRs. They're all digital. There's XLR connector back there, but they're all AES-EBU or something else.
And then they have a stage box. Is that the stage box to the left of it
Yeah,
or the right of it?
it's one of them.
Stage box. Now it's the left of it. Now it's the right of it.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Then the next picture. What is that? Who are those people?
That's me finally meeting face to face Robert Scoville. And then there's Greg, who's also, Greg is from, well, he's from the US now, but he's from, where the heck is he from? Lithuania? I can't remember now. Oh, Poland.
So, yeah.
Now what are we looking at, David?
The biggest Digico board I've ever seen. Look at the size of that thing. It's like, how do you reach anything if it's a, the board better
It's a two-man board. It's a two-man board, right?
It's like a Midas XL4, really.
I mean, it's the quantity. It's the big board, and it's for one person, or two, or three, however you want to set it up. But it's basically a giant console.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why I took the picture. I mean, there are a lot of Digico boards. We've all seen Digico boards. I've never seen that's the biggest board at the show. I never saw anything.
That's huge. That's the 852, the Quantum 852. What is there a nickname to that, or is it just the 852?
I didn't talk to anybody about it. It was just sitting there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what.
And that's about it. Those are the pictures that we've got.
And Warren Audio had a nice analog board that they were showing at NAMM.
Who?
Warren Audio.
Really? Where are they from?
It's American made. Let me just make sure I've got that name right. But yeah, it should have been Warren Audio.
Cool. While he's doing that, hey, for you guys, I heard about an app. I haven't really played with it much because I'm not available to see barcodes. But there's an app that they just released called Yuka, Y-U-K-A, Yuka. And what it is it's an app that you go into the supermarket or wherever you see products that you want to eat, and you scan the barcode, and it tells you what's in the ingredients in the product, and it gives you a recommendation of how good it is for you.
Right. I've used that, but I have a recommendation for you, Jan. Bobby approved.
Bobby, B-O-B-B-Y?
Yeah, approved.
Is that Bobby Schneider approved, or?
No. Bobby Parrish is a huge YouTube guy, and I'm telling you, it's like
It's an app. It's an app.
It is an app. Go to your Google or Apple store and type in Bobby approved. It's a blue icon. He'll tell you everything. Oh, it's done with vegetable oil. Wrong. Should be canola or virgin.
Well, there you go. Now you have a choice of two apps to stay healthy. All right.
Yep.
So with all the shit you've been breathing, Chris, you got to stay healthy. Eat good food. All right. Back to whatever anybody wants to talk about.
I did mean to. Yeah.
No, but now we have two apps. It's fine. Right. I mean, I have no stock in the Yuka company, and I even get. But when I saw the concept of scanning it and having your food, I've been trying to test it, but here it's not the same. I have to find American products, I guess, that it works with.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't been eating that much packaged food either. Come to think of it.
So, congratulations on your wedding celebration. Those photos were quite amazing. You and Jan Landy, that who I met many years ago on the third floor of a bar in Hollywood, which I won't name.
Oh, was it the Rainbow?
Yes, it was.
The Rainbow Bar and Grill, yes.
And you in parachute pants.
I was wearing pants? Unbelievable.
You were wearing red parachute knickers, and
That sounds like me.
brilliant. It was brilliant, and I all I have to say is, God bless you.
Yeah.
Both.
Well, thank you, buddy. Thanks. I really appreciate it. All I could say to you is that I've had a great life. I've had an amazingly great life. And I have no complaints. I mean, it's to be able to live the life that I've lived, with all of the drugs that I did when I was young, with all of the women I went through, with all of the friendships of all the people that I lost along the way. I'm thankful to be alive, and I'm glad that we're all here together today to be able to share it and have a few laughs. So there you go. Yeah, I had a great, and I'm not ashamed to admit, I did more than my share of dangerous narcotics, as the police said, when they brought me home when I was 18, and that put my cousin, who I was living with at the time, right into labor. She was, she needed a month ago. They knocked on the door. They said, Mrs. Landy, two policemen standing on either side of me. And she said, yes. And they said, we believe your son is on dangerous narcotics. And that changed my life right then and there.
But then, Jan, you met Wayne Sims.
Wayne Sims, a highlight of my life.
Yeah.
I think not.
You're probably right about that, Wayne. I'm looking for something right now. But I started sharing a photo album with Bo, and so all of a sudden, what I find is that all my favorites are no longer easily found because she's like favoriting everything. But I'm looking for my favorites, and I can't seem to find it. Oh well, let's talk about something, and when I find it, I'll bring it back.
Well, I want to know, since we're on the subject, what was your best takes? Hello, Mr. Kurt Hare. What was your best NAMM takes?
What's my best what?
What was the best of NAMM in your eyes, other than this other region stealing your Parnelli Award?
Yeah, I'll talk to you.
Oh, what happened? I didn't know that.
You didn't win?
I didn't win.
I voted for you.
I know a lot of people did it. Thank you. I mean, our region's just not quite as populous as the one that won. And there's other things, but that's for after the the stream is over.
Congratulations. At least were you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great for us in the region here.
Yeah, it really.
Well, that's good. That's really good. I'm sorry you didn't win, but in my mind, you are the winner. You are the winner.
Next year.
By the way, I just happened to find a picture of when Greg might have met me. There I am in my glory, mixing on a Yamaha 300 console.
Yeah,
as you
I
can
know
see.
that desk.
Yeah, EM300 powered thing.
Yeah, there I am, baby. There I am. Look how many channels I'm using.
Look at the graphic in the board. Ooh.
yeah. Look at that little white spot underneath his nostril, though.
Yes. Oh, I got one like that. I got a better one. Let's see if I can find it.
Hey, by the way,
So
a little
anyway.
bit ago,
That looked
you cut
almost
to
like a PV console, all black
Yeah.
and white.
Well, those were the days. Those were the days, my friend.
a little while ago, Jan. You cut to a different camera. It was on
Oh,
your
yeah.
side, and that camera was in perfect lip sync. Because you're
Oh.
always out of lip sync when you're online, but when you cut to that side camera, you were perfect.
Well, I thought I fixed it. So actually, let me. I'll do it. I think that.
No,
I'm using
no
a software.
real-time
That's what the problem is.
diagnostics.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir.
That's it. I just took it off, and now I should be a perfect lip sync.
Was there any
It's
special?
working. Perfect.
Was there any specials on the X80 Maya at NAMM? Going? Chris?
Meyer doesn't
Or
give
no?
out any.
They don't sell car stereo. There's no specials.
I got
No
a
specials.
free Meyer lanyard. Ooh.
I did get to hear it though, which is nice because I bought some already without ever even hearing it. But
Oh yeah, that was I was quite impressed with the X80. I mean, that
I'll have
thing
one.
is the good thumper. I mean, I think it's going to be a useful box.
yeah, we're going to use them for side fill tops, and we'll use them for offstage fills. And I'm sure we'll use them on corporates for instead of like 4, melodies or something. We can just hang one X4 or X80 and be done with it.
Exactly.
Can you do a club with 1X80 aside?
With subs, yeah, with subs you need it.
Yeah, you need 700s at least, or the unstealable 900s that Chris has.
Yeah, they demoed them with a single 2100. So, and that was great. But if you want pattern control, you'd want to. I think 2 900s and an X80. I mean, that's what we're gonna do.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Either just stack the 900s or do a line, end fire, and yeah, I think that would be a great package.
Yeah, we'll do it all day long with 2 900s facing forward with an X80 as a side fill, and then if we've got to do a small show, we'll flip one of the 900s around to get pattern control.
Yeah, I think that's a great decision. That I
So
think
you
that's
still
really
need
useful
a
package.
controller with that, correct?
Well, you could just daisy chain them, but you typically would do a Galaxy.
Right. So you have so the buy-in. If I was going to do a club system, 2 900s, 2 X80s, and a Galaxy.
Yeah, for side fills, we don't typically do it with a Galaxy because a
That
lot
would
of
retail for about 85.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was about to ask that question. How much would it cost?
About 85. I think the LF. I mean, I'm just talking list prices. I think the 16 per cabinet or 17 for the X80s, and about the same. Or no, how much is a 2100? I've forgotten.
Well, retail.
Yeah,
I think it's about 12,000, something like that, maybe more.
I think it's
Or not,
16.
like
So
16.
yeah, it adds up fast.
Right.
It
This
just
place
looks
ordered today
looks
for
a great
10
system.
10 wedges, 10 MJFs, and 2 more 900s.
Yeah. By the way, it's amazing that I could still think. It's amazing, like Greg's talking about the time you met me in the rainbow. I'm going to share a photo and see if you can recognize any of these people in this photo. That
bro.
there you go. This is me right here. In case you haven't recognized me right there. And this is our good friend Michael Gladstone, who passed away. I don't know how many years ago, but this guy over here. Anybody know who that could be?
Is that David?
David Dansky. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, David Dansky.
No way! Oh my! And look at the car in the background.
It looks like a still from Welcome Back, Cotter.
Yeah,
totally, Mr. Cotter. Yes, absolutely.
With my leg up in the air, I was dancing, I guess.
I think what it was, I really gave this some thought, but I really believe what that was is that you had the camera on a stand and you had rushed in to get to the picture because it must have been an automatic timer on the camera.
We used to do that, yes. It's a great picture. That's That's the entrance to Hollywoodland, which is where the sign is.
Yeah. By the way, I'll share that. I'll share that photo one more time with you guys. That picture right there. That is Ned Beatty's house, or was Ned Beatty's house over here, right there.
That's his backyard. That's all fenced in now. So, but
Yep.
that's Ned Beatty's. I think that's his guest house.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I don't know if Ned's still with us, but if he is,
He doesn't live there anymore. But that house is still there.
But there you have it. That's walk down memory lane for you guys with me.
Now, the other thing I forgot to tell you. So I went to empty out, the majority of my stuff with a moving truck, and so we filled the truck, and there's still some stuff laying around, but all the good stuff got out. So we went up to the top house because there was a safe, and I had checked, and the safe was in the rubble, but like way back, in the middle of a huge debris field that's very dangerous to walk on because there's nails and stuff collapses under your weight. So I kind of gingerly walked out there, put nylon webbing, with a cinch. And then from my car, I took the winch up to a tree saver in a very high tree, put the pulley and a shackle. At any rate, I just parked my car. All the angles were great. And I just pressed the button on the winch, and the frickin' safe just got pulled straight out of the rubble right to the driveway.
Now, did you when you opened the safe? When you opened the safe, was everything intact, or did the heat?
The safe regrettably couldn't be opened because all of the controls and the handle and everything had burned off the front. So it's just in storage, but we've got it. And there was rattling inside, which means some of the silverware didn't melt. But we'll see. I'm going to go down there either with a nibbler or with a disc, and just, everything burned off the size of it. It used to be kind of a very substantial looking safe. Of course, it's all bullshit because, the actual steel portion of it was all that was left. And
have some fun. Take a sledgehammer.
I was thinking about that. There's ammo in there, so I don't really want to do that. I'm just.
How big is this safe?
Oh, probably. Well, here, I'll send you a picture. I have. Maybe it's on here. Let me see if I can find it here. I'll send it to you.
Oh, come on, live dangerously. Get that sledgehammer. So big deal. There's ammo in there. Big deal.
Get the stethoscope and try to hear the tumblers.
Yeah, let's see if I go to photos. Let's see if this is synced up.
There was no favorite chocolate in there.
What he said.
Yeah, no, yeah. I don't know. I'll have to go, or I'll grab my phone.
Save it for next week. It'll give us something to look forward to for next week. That's what I could say. We'll look forward to it for next week. Anyway, is there anything that we're going to go off the air now? So I just remember, click the like button and share the show with your friends. I got our first email from somebody who said that they watched the show. They loved it. It was episode 240, so this is 44. So it was 4 shows ago, and he wanted to be part of the show this week. And of course, he's not here. So, but at least he watched it. It was a really nice little email that he sent me.
There was a new face in the room a minute ago. He left.
That was John, right? John Lochner. He's not a new face. He's been with us before, but he never really talks very much. So that's okay. I'm glad that he's in the room, and he is a fun guy, and he's an experienced engineer. So we like him here. We like him. Okay, anyway, Jan, is there anything that anybody? Oh, okay. You send me. We'll share it next week. I promise. We will share it next week. I will have it queued up and ready to go. So is there anything that anybody wants to say to the general public before we go and we leave ourselves in the room to talk about things that we don't want to talk about on the air?
Here we are with the winch gear. Use the tree. Use the I-beam. We now have the tape, which is going to go to Steve's.
Nice shoes.
Oh, I mean, the shoes are...
Hold on. Got to pin you.
Anything being that good in there, but
anyway, that was it. It was a lot of fun.
Right.
Using a little engineering to rip that thing out of the debris field. A lot of fun.
Well, there you go. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. And now, on the legal side, is there anything that's going on with you as far as have you heard anything from the government? Have you heard anything from anybody
Not
as
too
far
much.
as
I mean,
to make you
essentially,
whole?
the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, has apparently subcontracted out to the Army Corps of Engineers. So you got to sign some papers to give them right of access onto your property, and then they will do the debris removal. However, because it's flowing through FEMA, that the cost of removing the debris actually FEMA claws back from your insurer. There's no free lunch here.
Get Rick.
Yeah. Kurt, I want to hear your takeaways for the subject of the show. What struck you? You were there for quite some time at NAMM.
Yeah, we got in Thursday, and I spent most of Friday and Saturday on the floor.
We were looking for you. We were waiting for you.
Oh, you guys never got together?
No,
Well, I met up with a few people. I missed David.
that's what happens.
There wasn't anything really too remarkably mind-blowing as far as like new product. I didn't think there was a lot of new technology getting rolled out. The
Did you
X80.
see the electronic patch bay? I watched a YouTube video of this guy telling about this electronic patch bay where you could take all this analog gear and hook to it, and then you could actually change stuff without having to patch.
Yeah, I didn't see it there, but I've known about it. I was actually thinking about that for recall for the gambles, because everything could be patched and you could just recall whatever inserts you wanted, leave it patched. I've been thinking about that for a couple of years.
It's really pricey, but it looked pretty cool. Pricey. And it could do Dante, it can do Maddie, it can do whatever card you want to drop into it. It's a cool box, but it was really pricey.
Yeah, I spent a bunch of time with the direct output people because we're kind of rethinking our drive racks and trying to standardize them and do into that. And so I've been interested in that for a year, and I had some time at LPS with them. That's a cool product. It's very modular and very configurable. So I have to sit down and really figure out exactly what my IO needs and what kind of internal matrixing and what I want to use it for. Because I've got the Galaxies. I don't really need a bunch of EQ and stuff like that. I just need kind of a very fancy mix switch in multi-format. So that was a big thing. Spent some time with Link, looking at some of their different options for new drive snakes, leaning towards a 6-channel Cat 6 that they have. But they have these widgets that allow you to convert the Cat line back to analog at either end. So you have a drawer full of these little breakout boxes, and you can reconfigure it by just plugging in a box to one of the panels that has the Cat line on it. And that way I don't have something with power and analog audio and digital audio. And it's all in one thing. I have a bunch of Cat lines that can basically do whatever I need them to do that day.
Yeah, in a minute.
Well, obviously, you want to win that Pernelli next year, and I love what you're doing right now. I love it. If at first you don't succeed, try again. There you go.
Again. I will try again.
That's it. And I'll vote for you again. Just remember, I like to vote, early and often. So we'll vote for you many times. Once again, try to build up those numbers. Anyway, with that in mind, remember everybody, have a great week. You make it happen. You want to come join us, send anyone in the room a DM, and we will send you the link. And that's it. Stay safe and stay healthy. And remember, you make it happen. So see you next week. Make it happen.